I figured I'd do a new video, well, new format. I'm going to be trying out a few different things. You might notice here I've got myself a little microphone. This is something not necessarily for me, but more for my friend Dave, so that when we're doing our games, you can actually hear him, because after a while he gets a little tired and he starts to mumble and mutter. So just to help clear out the audio a little bit. I've also got a few extra cameras, so you'll hopefully be seeing a few more shots and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. This is a little bit of a test just to see if I can get it to work properly and how long it takes me to edit it all in. Again, more cameras you add, more raw audio recording stuff. This starts to make the editing more difficult. So what are we going to be looking at? Well, I'm going to be doing an unboxing of some bits and pieces I ordered. I'll just move these around so you can get a better look. And I will just present the camera. So this is the starter set for Heavy Gear, the Battle for Terra Nova. And I thought, well, it's a new thing. Well, it's not a new thing, I should say. The game itself has been going for a good 20 plus years, 20, 30 years. And there has been a cartoon, much like Battletech has had a cartoon. And I've just managed to get my hands on some of the bits and pieces here. Now, I will make a comment. The North and the South. This is not the North and the South. The North and the South are Terra Novans. These are the CEF and their subjugated allies, question mark, how you want to put it. The Northerners, because you notice there's a Northerner marking. There's another marking on his shoulder, but there's no Southerner markings here. So it's, the picture, though very nice, I must be honest, and it does show you off the heavy gears themselves, the tanks, various types of infantry and units that you can get in the game. Battle walkers, if you want to call them that. That's a little bit misleading. The image is wrong, but I'm not going to be with it. So North and the South, that's who it is supposed to be. Unfortunately, the North and the South are technically all on this side, but they are enemies. It's the fact that the Earth forces are essentially they bring everybody together to fight them. So yes, try not to get into politics too much. So what do we get in here? Before anyone asks, yes, it did come in cellophane. However, I had to crack it open just to give it a quick check over and just make sure there's anything too problematic before I did this video. So we have our 2 bags of frames, or I should say sprues of frames. So we have a bag of the Southerners, a bag of the Northerners. There are supposed to be, there should be amongst them 12 frames for each side. Piece of paper as a bit of protection. Just seems to be a bit of protection for the rulebook. So this is Heavy Gear Blitz, the name of the game, or the current incarnation of it is 3rd edition rules, but the version is 3.1, so it is the latest version. You can download this from Drive-Thru RPG, and they will basically, you can get all the things. So I was going to make a comment. You notice that there are no instructions or anything like that. You have to download those, unfortunately, but they are free, so it's not a major problem. There's also a compendium that does go with this. Again, you have to download it. So I'll just lay that there, and we'll just have a quick check of the box. So just fold it up. So on the back of the box, shows you what we should get in here. So you get your Northern frames and your Southern frames. Here we have 4 Hunters, 4 Jaegers, 2 Grizzlies, 2 Cheetahs. So 4 Hunters, 4 Jaguars, 2 Grizzlies, and 2 Cheetahs. Grizzlies are larger, heavier frames, heavier gears. I'm going to keep getting that confused. The Hunters and the Jaguars are the basic level combat heavy gears. A Cheetah, I think, is another version of the later ones. And the Grizzlies are the big ones, and then a matching force where you get 4 Jaegers, 4 Black Mambas, 2 Spitting Cobras, and 2 Iguanas. And then underneath it gives you, now this is not stuff you, because we've just opened it up, you don't get it, but it is available, which is transfers, commander sets, a patch that you can get, and tokens packs for each one. The only difference is the Southern version, transfers, so on and so forth. Just put that to one side. So quick, have a look over the rulebook first. So not the weightiest of tomes. It is about, I'd say it's, I remember if I get I've got to go my numbers up, A5. Yeah, this will be A5, so it's probably about A5, so maybe a little bit bigger. Not hardback, but it's still got enough of a weight to it. I think that if you have to correct your opponent while gaming, it's probably not going to be a major problem. So what do we have in here? So let's see if I can get the rules section. So intro is just standard thing, contents. Intro is a couple of pages, and then the rules. Now, from what I've been able to have a quick scan through on this, it is color coded. So essentially, that's your rules for the game. And they are pretty comprehensive. They go through it fairly well. The next bit is your force construction. How to actually build your forces up, because the main thing with this game is you build teams within your force, and they have to have their own mission. So they have to have something like attack a certain target, just hold a certain objective, things like that. It makes it kind of tactical, because it's not just you can do whatever you like with them. No, they actually have orders they have to follow. Traits, which is special abilities, explaining how you read your profiles. And then we're into the various, now I'll just quickly say there's a little bit of building and painting, weapons, because they like using acronyms for everything, which is kind of handy, because some of them kind of make sense, but not all of them. Not the biggest fan of it, but hey, there's some very nice artwork, I will be honest, in the book. Let me just show you that one. So there you go. So that's a bit of the artwork, and then just some of the weapons that you get, the basic equipment that your gears can carry, and a few painted up. And then we move into, so shall we say, the timeline. So the map of our universe, and then moving into the timeline, a bit specific to the planet that we'll be fighting, which is the Terra Nova fleets, and a bit about what's going on. Yep. Different areas of the planet, so you understand where you're going, and then explaining to you who is the North. Each one, I believe, starts with a page worth of a short story, and then it goes into where do they come from, who are they, what do they do, why are they the way they are, the various factions within each individual faction, if you want to put it this way, an explanation on what they are, what is some of the gears, and then all the weapons and equipment. So this one's actually quite good, because it gives you a bit of a variation of them. So you've got the Lion, the Grizzly, the Kodiak, and the Razorback. As you can see, it's not just one version of each gear. It is 4 or 5 of them, including upgrades to which you can apply to any of them. And it gives you an idea of some of the colours that you can paint them in. Though it does say you can paint them whatever you want. As you can see here, we've got a red and white one in tan. This one's done into black, or into grey at least. These ones are a mixture of yellows and more tan. And it just takes you through all the units that they got. They also have ground units. They're all ground units. You have air units in the form of helicopters, and some very, very large gears, or striders, I think they call them. Vehicles, armored units, and things like that can accompany the heavy gears into battle. And we have same for the south. The north and the south are the 2 main elements of the game. So they are quiet, and then you have various other factions. Oh no, and then it's generics. Oh yeah, and then these are various generic gears that will be used by anybody and everybody for combat, including vehicles and equipment that is used by anybody and everybody. Some infantry. So you've got Northerners in their tan, Southerners in their, looks like black, Peace River in their red, and Caprician, which is one of the CEF's allies, also in black grey. Very similar to the Southern Infantry, I must be honest. And then you've got buildings, because you can purchase buildings and things from them. And then rules for things like minefields and trenches. Here you have the appendix, which gives you your quick reference tables, upgrades, weapons tables, so what they mean, and various Strengths of it, from what I've read, it's basically if it's light, medium, or heavy. Record sheets, token sheets, which are all photocopier. I will make a comment. I'm not, as you've got the QF sheets here, they're not great. I would rather have something which gives me the turn broken down, how to do movement, shooting, and things like that, simply because it's what I'm after. Someone will say, because I'm not going to learn all this. Even though there's, as we said, there isn't a massive amount, it's just good to have it there as a reminder. This is how you move, this is how you shoot, this is how you hit each other. That's a failing, in my opinion. Someone might disagree with me on that one. It's entirely personal preference. I may end up having to create, once I've got my head into this one, I'll probably create my own quick reference sheets. So onto the figures. I'll dig out the north, because I am northerner. Literally, I'm a northerner. So we get a packet of bases, a couple of larger rounder bases, and then several hex ones. I believe these are for the northerners. These will be for the grizzlies. He says he quickly flips the box over so we can double check. Yep, that's for the 2 grizzlies. It does say on the back, it's hunter, jaguar have hex bases, grizzly has a round base, and cheetah has a hex base. And let's have a look, see. Now, someone has already purchased this set before I did, and they showed me a few bits and pieces from it where they noticed that there were indents in some of the molds. Not a massive issue, there's no holes or anything, but it just seems to be where either the mold itself has just maybe had an air bubble or something like that, or it's just a pressure point and it's not come through properly. This is a, so this is a hunter, so a standard heavy gear for the north. Arms, engine, get variative arm, you get a couple of arms, legs, so I believe you can have different poses with them, body pieces, heads. You can see there's a little bit of a lump in there, but again, you could probably ignore it. Maybe I think you can potentially put something on top of it, or even just go, do you know what, it's fine, no problem. So you've got a small rocket pack. Let's see, an autocannon, a larger autocannon. I think there's a knife that you can put in his hand, and just check. Yeah, okay, so it will be a case of you probably have to cut the handle off and put it in the hand, but that's fine. Again, you'll probably be cutting off things like the pistol grips, and I'm not too sure whether that's a autocannon with a small autocannon with another weapon, or that's something. I'd have to get weapon recognition. Guide will take you through all this. This is another hunter, so that's 2 of those. This is a bigger sprue, which is our jaguar. So larger weapons, look a lot more anti-armor weapons, a different type of autocannon, slightly different head. He's still got the same knife, bodies, arms, pretty much the same selection of equipment, or I should say poses, items, though slightly bigger. I think he's maybe a touch larger than his. No, they're about the same size. Okay, might just be the got a little bit more space on the frame, on the sprue. Oh, this is quite a busy sprue. So this is our grizzly, a little bit bigger. So he's got his tank treads and stuff on his legs, various weapons. Oh, that one's popped off, but that's not a problem. I'm not seeing any indentations or damage done to them, which is good, other than that one's popped, but that could be from, oh, he's popped all those. That could be from me handling the box. That could just be pressure in it. It's not necessarily a major problem. It doesn't look like they're damaged. So that's the grizzly, which is the big one. 4 hunters and 4 jaguars, 2 cheetahs, 2 grizzlies. Good selection of things, and because they've got, probably mix and match the weapons a little bit with them, give them different styles. But yeah, nothing, it looks like, and I will say, good thing about them being plastic is that if you want to do a little bit of conversion work on them, it's probably not going to be too much of a problem. So pop them out the way over there for the moment, and we'll check through the Southerner set. I'll make this one a bit quicker because essentially just count them up, make sure they're all there. So again, bases, bag has a hole in it. It's not a problem. Would have just fallen into there anyway, and there weren't any more. So the iguana, auto rifle, slightly different. You can automatically see there's a little bit of difference in style. Heads are different, legs are different, it's a bit fatter. I'm going to put it a bit more rounded up. He's got spikes or chaos. This is our bigger one, so our black mamba, grenade launcher. I think that's a repeating laser cannon or something like that. No, it looks all right. got a good selection of arms, about 3 of everything more or less. Different rockets. It's another. That's a spitting cobra. So again, the bigger one. It's got tank treads. You know, they seem to like their spikes, don't they? Got big Gatling cannon, large anti-tank weapon, I think. Not done a Jaeger. Yep. So this is the base one. Again, compared to the northern ones, these are a bit more rounded off in equipment. Different style of rifles. Some of it is similar. I mean, there's a grenade launcher, rocket launcher, bit of RPG looking thing. Knife is the same. Heads are different. Yeah. Quickly just count these up to make sure I've actually got them all. Yep. Happy with that. Should have 4 of those. 2 of these. That's my 4th one. And then yep, there we go. There's all 4 of them. So happy with that. So not too bad. A nice little selection again. Next thing we're going to do is the infantry pack that I purchased. The game does say that the infantry is generic enough that you can use them for pretty much any faction you want, as you saw in the book. They're relatively speaking all the same figures. Now, what I have seen is that you are supposed to have larger bases with about half a dozen to or so figures on it, and that represents your platoon. Whereas in this version, the image here you've got is where they've broken them down. So you have 3 or 4 figures, and that represents the same squad. It's exactly the same thing, and from what I've been able to see from just looking at the bag, I've got the platoon is all on bases. It's on the smaller bases, which is fine. I'm quite happy with that. So we'll just quickly organize these a little bit. I'll just show you this. So this is one of the commander figures, waving his arm in the air, carrying a rifle. Looks like he's got relatively all-encompassing body armor. Got a rifleman. Again, a little bit of flash on the bottom, but it's nothing there. Quick spin with a knife won't fix. Not sure if he's shooting or if he's advancing. I'll go with, I think from his pose, I'd actually be tempted to say he is advancing, but he could be shooting. Quite happy with these. There's supposed to be 40 odd of them, so let's make sure of it. 35 and 40. Now, I will be honest, they're a little bit limited on the poses. There seems to be about, I think there's about 3 or 4 poses. The commander figure, weapon raised, weapon lowered. I think, is there another one? I think there is a 4th figure. I could be wrong. Oh, there we go. He says, no, okay, we've got 4 poses. So we have the commander style figure running, waving his hand in the air. I suppose you could describe it as an on guard at rest pose or waiting pose. I think this one's probably actually quite good as the shooting pose, just for the sort of positioning of the legs. He's looking down. Yeah, he's looking down his sights. He's shooting. Seems to be sort of shooting off to the right. And this one I think is because he's. I want to show the difference because they are different sides, so they're pointing in different directions. So I think he's also either shooting, but again with the way the legs are posed, I'm tempted to say he's potentially just advancing at the high port, as it were. So I'm not too sure, but again, okay, you get 4 poses, which isn't too bad. 40 figures, so pretty much going to be what, 10 of each. I think there's, in fact I'm wrong, I think there's only 1, 2, where's my commanders, 3. So I say I didn't see that many guys waving their hands in the air, so you're not going to need that many commander poses. So there's 4 of them, and then the rest are infantry. Yeah, okay. So again, not too bad. Now, if you look into heavy gear, you'll find that the north are the good guys, the south are the good guys, the north are the bad guys, the north are the south are the bad guys, the earth are the bad guys, but the earth just want to unite everybody. Everybody's good, everybody's bad. Pick your favorite faction and enjoy, and then just enjoy being unpleasant to everybody else. It's all about our factions, in-game politics. That's all that matters. So this is the CEF army box. This is one of the, I won't call it, faction starter sets. You get 15 figures in this one, and that does mean, so you do get 2 tanks. I'll just count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A little bit cheeky with this set because these 6 figures here do count as part of your 15. And then you get your frames and then 2 tank units. With this one, it's a sleeve rather than a attachment to the box. And you see the 2 tanks set up. They have got multiple choices and barrels. You've got battle frames. So we get 2 larger battle frames, 1 small battle frame, and then 4, I want to say, frontline frames. And then we get these 2 flail infantry squads, each made of 3 figures apiece. I believe, having checked through some of the rules with these guys, I can mount them as on individual bases. It just changes their number of hits they can take, because instead of it hitting the squad, you're hitting the individual, so you end up tending to lose the individual models. So just take that off, and again, similar to the other one, it's the fold down box, and we get our bag of equipment. So I will just put this out. So dignified. So I'll just take these 2 as they're on the top. So we have our 2 tanks, 3 gun weapons, 3 guns, 3 turret weapons, turret, body, nice and simple, relatively. Just going to be a quick bit of work with a hobby knife and you'll be ready to go, and you get 2 of those. Okay, here we go. This is the, I genuinely can't read that, give me a second. F221 battle frame, which gives you, again, a variety of weapons, a couple of arms. This seems to be, you seem to pretty much get very static poses with these. There's the engine. Looks like it's got like an arm shield or something. Heftier legs. Yeah, but only 2 arms. And then underneath it, you get your 3 flail variants. Different poses, which is good. Though I think as I've got 2 of these, there we go. There's the second one right there. You're pretty much looking at mixing and matching. But hey, happy enough with that. Armored infantry, what more do you want? This is the F8. I'll just double check. Nope. It says it is right in front of him. This is the, no. So this is the, oh no, you get 2 F2s, 2 F221s, F2, F6, 16s. Damn, yeah. One of those. It's another set of frames. Love it when they go from names to which are readily recognizable to coding. It looks like you've got some radar unit or something like that. Variety of weapons. One of the bigger frames. I think this is our larger battle frame. So rather large, chunky legs, arms. Not too many pieces. I will be honest, they do seem to be relatively simplistic. It's all pretty much 2 legs, 2 arms. In the case of the case of the heavy gears, they all seem to have like 3 or 4 extra arms in total, which allows you to do different poses. And say torso mount, or lower torso, upper torso, and then heads and various bits, and then a good selection of weapons that you can strap to them. Again, they seem to be in good condition. I've not seen any with big holes or damage to them. And then our little, this is the littlest frame, the singular frame. So he's got slightly longer legs, pretty much the same way, but he is a bit smaller than the other ones. Only by a small amount. It's like maybe mils. Cool. And we've got all of our bases. So yeah, because I think we've got a couple of, yeah, because we've got 2 for the tanks and 2 for the infantry. Oh, no, that's the flying bases, I think. Yeah, those are our 2 flying bases, sorry. Those will be for the armoured infantry. So we've got 2 large bases for our larger frames, and then 2 large bases for the infantry, for the flails. So you might be wondering, why are there so many British infantry sat here? So you might be wondering, what's with the British infantry? Well, as you can see on the box, 1 144 scale plastic miniatures in the case of the starter set. So this is 15mm from Battlefront, not the perfect of sizes if you want to put it that way, but then I can give you a good representation of actually how big the other figures are compared to it. So here's the infantry figures compared to my British infantry officer, and they are, if you can see that, they are slightly shorter. I'll try and hold it. There we go. So let's see. It's slightly shorter. It's not massively much shorter, but it's definitely. I'm gonna say these I think are 12mm figures. Then a little bit annoying because I have lots and lots of 6mm stuff, so I can't do this. Sort of way too big for that, and I have lots of 15. I have a decent chunk of British 15 and German 15mm. Can't use any of that with it, but hey, hopefully the people have found that useful. It's an interesting alternative, I think, to some of the science fiction game sets out there. And hopefully in the future you'll see these figures painted up, ready to go, and actually being fielded.